cannot support me today, but I want to be 70 and 80, and I see my children enjoying the benefit of the sacrifice I've made today. Because I tell you wholeheartedly, not with any sentiment, if Bola Ahmed Tinubu cannot redirect the ship of Nigeria, no politician currently can do it. None. Not Atiku, not Peter Obi, none of them. None. Not with what I know about all of them. You know, somebody was talking with me one day. I know that this one is going to come with another backlash, but let's say it. Somebody was talking with me one day, and he said you're not supporting somebody. And I said, wait, you heard that a governor once had a governor's aide, once had about 200 million naira cash in his car. And the governor said he should go and deliver it somewhere. And then the governor claimed that it was for contract. And they caught the person. That would you still support that kind of government? The person said, now the people that they rule this country, they'll be that, why would I support such a person? And I said that person is Peter Obi. Google it. That person is Peter Obi. But you don't know about that because you choose to be blind by your followership.
This true and can be confirmed.
So I said there was a governor who once supported another candidate that wanted to become a godfather until his person fought against him. And the person came out to say that he was demanding for 7.5 billion naira from him for the money he used to support him. And he said, now those APC governors. And I said, that's Peter Obi. That was what Obiano said. And once it is the person they support, automatically it becomes a lie.
All right, Barrister. You know, initially when I listened to him, when they now this is I think I've forgotten this is a celebrity. I don't know. I think his name is Seyi, something like that. I don't know his full name. I'm not even sure. That is, I think something Seyi. And the presenter is Babyface. I don't know if you remember Babyface. What's his name? Teju Babyface. Okay. Yeah, it's an old that name. It's an old name actually. So he's a presenter. I think he's Yoruba too, and so it's obvious. I don't know why criticism is. Well, now first, when I heard that, I've not heard about this 200 or 250 million naira the security people, agency or institution discovered in Obi's convoy. But the truth is, when I heard that, I decided to just go on ChatGPT to find out if truly this situation occurred, because you had the presenter asking him if there was any proof of such or whatever. So, and he affirmed strongly on that there was proof. So I decided to go search whatever, and ChatGPT is neither here nor there. Yes, there was story like that, an incident happened like that, but according to on record, there was no established facts that Obi did anything wrong or thereabout. I don't know. Obviously, you have heard that story. What is this with people just coming to attack Peter Obi right now? Are you telling me that Bola Tinubu's camp still view him as a threat?
Well, in the Nigerian politics, there must be something that they can use to smear you. In point of hard facts, they have nothing to use against Peter Obi. That's the truth. But like a lawyer, you cannot be helpless. A lawyer cannot be helpless in presenting a claims case. You must present something tangible. So that's how the political actors, you come to the public arena in a public discourse, and those rumors peddled by people who are in a conflict with their opponents, and you take it as fact to say that Obiano said Obi demanded for 7.5 billion, and you now take it hook, line, and swing as truth. What is it is the point at which they had issues. when they did not have issue. He never said that. At the point at which they had issue, he now wanted to smear Peter Obi by saying Peter Obi had demanded for 7.5 billion. These are rumors. These are statements that cannot be verified.
What about the 250 million?
The same thing as 250. There is no record anywhere that such an incident happened. It is part of the rumor mill. He should have been challenged to bring any record. There's no record anywhere. We have been here.
Yeah, because honestly, there is not. Because even when like I said, when I asked ChatGPT, there was no certain record of such.
I said
whatever.
I have been here as a lawyer, as an adult, and as somebody who follows the public affairs very, very, very closely. There was nothing like that. When Peter Obi was governor throughout his tenure, there was nothing of that kind. The rumors came after he had left, and they had no basis. Till today, nobody can come out and say, yes, these rumors are true, apart from saying he heard. Even the person who was talking about should have come up to, is one thing to come out and say this thing was said to have happened. It's another thing whether it actually happened. Then moving from that, assuming for the sake of argument that his aide had 200 and something million, it does not follow that it is proceeds of crime, or it is meant for crime, or it is an embezzled money. It takes more than that to criminalize the possession of 200 million by the governor's convoy.
Hold on. Do you even see someone like Peter Obi to do something like that?
I was even coming to that. You should even know the person of Peter Obi, that this is not somebody who can hold 200 million cash on him. If you know Peter Obi, even throughout his tenure as governor, even before he became governor, after he became governor, until today, everybody know him, the way he handles money. Not only they gave him the name of being a stingy person, because he's not somebody that is loose with money. He has a history and this thing in the banking sector. What would he do with 200 million cash? The money is there for him in the bank whenever he wants to use it. So that remains the rumor mill when you want to tar somebody whom you cannot get something concrete to present, to oppose. You now bring rumor. You bring anything to tar the person. Because in Nigerian politics and even elsewhere, when you say something against a public figure, there are people who will believe. There are those who will not believe. Even with or without evidence, people will believe and hold on to it as truth. Those who do not like Obi will believe and hold on to it as truth. It is like that. You throw some mud at people, and then the mud sticks, because the person is busy cleaning it up. There are people who will believe, those who will not believe. The whole aim, all the time that the Tinubu's camp has been, they have been recruiting people like Reno Mokori and elsewhere to stand from somewhere and attack.
I assume
this is one of them. I was going to say that
yes,
this is one of those people.
You're right.
The Tinubu group has been recruiting people. Even themselves, they have been attacking him, but they recruit people willing tools, like Reno Mokri, and this is one of them, to stand allegedly outside their group and criticize
because the truth is, even the moderator, the Teju Babyface, the way you just what if I watch that clip and I watch the body language, it to me, I just noticed a scripted episode of that show. Whatever.
Let me even ask you, did you hear of this allegation from the Tinubu's campaign, during the campaign?
No, of course no. That's why it was strange to me. That's why I decided to search.
If these things were true, these are the first things that the official campaign of Tinubu would have brought out during the campaign.
for
Even
those of
Atiku's campaign would have brought it up
yeah
because there's
for
no this thing in politics.
you're right. For those of you who have been following, or who have not been following, or if this is your first time, honestly, we have talked about Peter Obi's antecedents, his virtues. We've been hammering. In fact, Peter Obi has been in our it has been on our lips for a very very long time. We've enumerated so many virtues of Peter Obi. Peter Obi, I consider him as incorruptible, the only incorruptible politician we have in Nigeria right now, that we know. We don't know, or we can't talk about the ones we don't know. But among the ones that we know, politicians that we know, Peter Obi is the only incorruptible. Peter Obi, as a governor, has a record, an impeccable record, a record that no governor in the history of Nigeria ever achieved. That is just it. There is nobody that, again, I use this as there is no governor. I don't know, someone, if you have any governor, if you know of any governor who have done all these things, let me know. Peter Obi is the only governor who finished his term without allocating any land to himself or his cronies. Peter Obi does not have, he did not allocate, for God's sake. He is the man who does that. Only Peter Obi can do that. Even me, honestly, I cannot vouch for myself to do that. Let me be frank with you, because as principled as I am, that I became a governor for 8 years, I did not at least allocate land, even if I'm going to pay for it, allocate land to myself. Only Peter Obi could achieve that. That he did not allocate land to. He is the governor. The governor is the one that has signed CFO. He is the only person by constitution that has the right and the obligation or the responsibility to sign CFO. Yet this man, after 8 years, did not allocate any land, did not sign any land to his name. No, not just to his name, to any member of his family. For God's sake, that's number one. Secondly, this is the only governor that EFCC, let's even assume that this 250 million naira they just brought up, this 250 million naira gibberish, they just dug out from nowhere. Let's even assume it exists or it existed. What happened? Why didn't we hear that EFCC invited Peter Obi? Peter Obi is on record today. Go and search. He's the only governor. Go and check. Since the advent of democracy, he's the only governor that EFCC has never either invited or investigated or have any lacuna to investigate. Of course, there should be something. There is no there for them to investigate. EFCC don't just jump into whatever. They have dug every past of Peter Obi's past during his governance in governorship in Anambra State. They have done everything they could, especially prior to 2023, to actually pin something on him. Nothing, no iota of corruption. No iota of corruption, for God's sake. Other than that, apart from the performance, the achievement that he actually exemplifies, that there's no one that, not even close to what he has done. Yet we have people like this, what is there? Whatever, coming out to say trash. And even what's his name? Omoyele even did the same thing too. He mentioned that issue of that 250 million naira stuff or whatever. These people are so crazy, I'm telling you.
Let me chip in. You said they should show you a governor. I'm saying not just a governor, they should show a single Nigerian politician that is as clean as Peter Obi. Not just governor. I challenge them. They should show anybody, any Nigerian politician who has held office as a minister, as president, as governor, as a senator, as House of Reps, that is as clean as Peter Obi. That is a challenge. This commentator claimed that the only person who could steer the ship of Nigeria now is Bola Tinubu. And his reason is that he knows the other people. He knows Atiku, he knows Peter Obi. And look at the kind of evidence he put forward. Is that how you know somebody, that you hear rumors that the person had 200 million? You had his predecessor, his successor, Obiano, saying that Obi said he should pay him 750. Is that what you will claim as knowledge of the person? For God's sake, is that the yardstick for measuring Peter Obi as against Tinubu. If you take that as yardstick, now begin to list the Tinubu's fraud. They listed fraud, some of them with greater weight and evidence than what this man is putting forward. How is it that you use those two incidents against Peter Obi, but you refuse to use the weightier issues against Tinubu and support him and say he's the only person that can tear because you know the other people, you know them, and you give those two reasons? This is absolute nonsense. It just shows you that people are being sponsored by the Tinubu group and they still regard him as the main challenge. That's the truth. They still regard Peter Obi because what happened was equivalent to the whirlwind that Buhari brought in 2015. Let me tell you, what happened in 2023 with the surge in support of Peter Obi is equivalent only to what happened back in 2015 when we talk about Buhari's hurricane.
Yeah.
It's equivalent to it. But the conspiracy of the powers that be, back then it was successful. 2023, the powers that be, maybe they have learned from the lesson of 2015. They were able to
the powers that be just felt they cannot control Peter Obi, and they cannot steal Nigeria's money under Peter Obi.
Exactly.
So they just feel that Peter Obi is a bad market. So that was why they didn't support him.
Back in 2015, everybody believed that Buhari will not last for 6 months. He was so frail and sick that people actually believe that he's not going to survive for 1 year, and then they will be in charge. But to their chagrin, the man became stronger, and actually when he took over, he was as sick as they come. But eventually he was
honestly, Peter Obi is just an impeccable character. He's just the best. He's just the best. Unfortunately,
within our system, there's nobody to compare to Peter.
Not even close.
Let's take the facts.
Yeah.
Let's do factual. If we have reason, and if we want to talk about for the good of Nigeria, for the development of our country, and for the progress of Nigeria, let's at least be factual and say some things that are intelligent and have factual basis, rather than just Peter Obi may not be president today. He may not even be in 2027. But that does not mean that in terms of comparison, and it's because of the contradictions in Nigerian politics that somebody like Peter Obi is still outside. That's the truth.
Yeah, you're right. You're right, honestly. So that is just it. Anyway, I have my own grudge against Peter Obi, and that was after 2023. I still see him as the best. There's no doubt about that. My problem is he does not have. That's one quality he does not have. He has all the virtues except one, and that one is that it is very, very important. You cannot because when it comes to power tussle. You need all the resources. You need all you can, all the virtues and characters that is available to humans to be able to actually gain power. If you have all these things, Peter Obi has every administrative impeccabilities, but he does not have the courage to actually take power. He doesn't have the guts to take power. He doesn't have the confidence to take power. He doesn't have the temerity to take power. It doesn't have what it takes. It doesn't have what it takes to take power. And taking power, you must be aggressive. You must be passionate. Passion. It does not have that passion. Let me use that word. I think Peter Obi. Anyway, we'll be talking about Peter Obi. I'll come back for this topic again, sort of subsequently. But that is just it. So, but when you talk of administration, he's the best. He's the best. Unfortunately, I don't see him because of his failure of the past in 2023. What I think he failed to do, the action I think he failed to take, that would have actually shot him to limelight, and probably that would have at least given us something different than this criminal we call President Tinubu. That's just the reality. But that is just it anyway.